What's going on, beautiful people? It's your boy Warren Watches Wrestling back at you with another video. And today we'll be breaking down my top 10 favorite wrestlers currently in WWE. I did actually make this list before SummerSlam, but after SummerSlam, we had a couple important returns that made me kind of shift things around. So I had to add a couple guys, remove a couple guys. I got a couple honorable mentions. Going through the men's list, I did realize that I tend to have quite a few favorites, I would say. I like a lot of wrestlers. So there are a couple that did make the list that I do indeed like, that I don't dislike. For most of my overall, so I don't really hate any of them, but there were some hard cuts I had to make here. I already know one that's going to get a ton of hate if you do stick around and watch it, and I know who that is. So stick around to see who didn't make the list, but stick around to see who number one is. I think you'll be surprised by my top three in all honesty, but this is my personal opinions. This isn't who the best wrestler is. This isn't who the best promo cutter is, who the biggest wrestler are. These are my personal favorites. So let's jump right into it. Let me know what you think. Drop a like, drop a subscribe. Let's start. So we're going to kick things off with some honorable mentions. These are people that didn't make the list. Some people didn't make the list due to injury, which is why Drew isn't on this list. He would be on. He's not injured, but he's not on TV right now. If you're not on TV or you are currently injured, I did keep you off this list, so that's why I had to make updates. But Drew currently has not been around since WrestleMania, so he's not on the list right now, but he would absolutely be in my top 10 if he was currently around. Damian Priest, this one is slept on. I personally like Damian Priest. I think Damian Priest is great. I think he's fun. I think he's cool. I think he's actually solid in the ring. I thought his world title run was a lot of fun because he had that champion that was beatable. So you didn't know when he was going to lose, if he was going to lose this match, if he was going to lose that match. I think he gained a lot of confidence. This is one that I know people might not agree with, but I tend to actually like Damian Priest. I would not be mad if he had another world title run. Just saying. Street Profits, they are one of my top two favorite tag teams right now. I had to include two tag teams. I had to include some. The tag team division I know is probably the weakest division in all of wrestling right now. You know, out of everything. The men's tag division is not the best booked, but the Street Profits are probably my second favorite tag team. My favorite tag team will be coming up. I know this one is going to make a lot of people mad. CM Punk's not in my top 10. Hear me out. Hear me out. CM Punk is not in my top 10 just because of the way he's been since he came back. Obviously, the 2011 Punk is one of my favorites of all time. Back in that era when he was cutting these deep promos, when he was honestly the voice of the voiceless, I love CM Punk. Right now, I know they say it in promos and it might sound corny, but he is like a corporate Punk right now. He hasn't been the deep cutting promo guy that he's been back in the day. It doesn't seem like he's, cutting hard or making these aggressive promos. I know we had the pipe bomb that we tried to make it going into WrestleMania where we were saying, lower the ticket prices and things like that. But all in all together, I just think the Punk that we have so far hasn't been the Punk that we had in the past. And I really do miss that Punk, like the deep promos, the scathing promos that he used to cut. I know he had a good promo with Seth, one decent back and forth there with the Roman feud that he has. I feel like that had one good promo, then everything from that was them just trying to rage bait each other. The one he just had with Cody was very soft. There was nothing really to, engage with there. His matches have been good. They also been kind of slow, but he is on the older side. But he just is right outside of my top 10. I don't want people to think I don't like CM Punk. I do like CM Punk. Just as other guys, if that he was to fight, I'd be rooting for that person over him at this point in time. So he's currently out of my top 10. I know, but that's just me. Another honorable mention, this is someone that was on the list I had to take off because of, the two returns that happened. Finn Balor. I'm a big Finn Balor fan. I like Finn. I think he's tremendous in the ring. I think he's rightfully due for a push, and he should be getting a push very, very soon. I thought he was actually going to win the number one qualifier match, but then we had Gunther and KO get added to that, so he didn't win that. So I don't know where he's going to go from here. Maybe a feud with Gunther, but if that is the case, he's probably going to lose that feud. Hopefully they continue to push Finn. I think he needs another world title run in the near future. Great in the ring, good on the mic, has the entrance music, has the emote that they need their baby faces to have, and just completely over with the crowd. I think Finn is tremendous. He was right outside my top 10 as well. And then already my favorite tag team right now is Fraxium. Picture's kind of shitty, but Fraxium is arguably like my favorite tag team. I hate the way they're being booked. They're just being booked as fodder on the main, on the upper roster, the main roster, and it's been awful being a MILF. Man, I love Fraxium, but these two in NXT were putting on banger after banger. Every single match they had was an absolute terrific match. They were so fun. I think they do have good chemistry with each other. Their character, sure, their promos are never the greatest thing, but their character work backstage and everything, I think, is perfectly fine and perfectly passable for especially the tag division that we have. If you're going to have two titles, have champions to actually defend them. You could give these guys the titles. They could go out there every single week, put on great matches, have little segments backstage, and be perfectly fine. I wish Fraction was booked better. I became a big fan of them when they were in NXT, having that terrific title run. So they are already my favorite. They are my favorite tag team right now. And this is just my final of the honorable mentions. So let's actually hop in to the top 10. And at number 10, we got Trick Williams. Trick Williams might have been a lot higher if I made this about, 3-4 months ago when he was first called up and he was absolutely over with the crowd. His aura was there. He was a comedy character on top of all the insults he was throwing out. Good matches, being pushed. His entrance is obviously super over. He would have been probably higher than this, but I still think he's in my top 10. I find him very, very charismatic, very interesting. I think his future is extremely bright. I see him kind of being, I know this is going to be an insane thing to say, him being like the new John Cena of like this era. And the reason I say that is because Oba can't be the John Cena because Oba is not going to lose the title 17 times. Trick is someone that can win a title and lose a title. He's not John Cena in the sense that he's going to be babyface forever, but he could be your face, like your star, like the Cody Rhodes of the company. He's the face of the company. You're already sending him on ESPN and everything like that. He's someone that can win matches, but he also is someone that, as we've seen, that will lose matches. Hell, he just lost to Baron Corbin in an absolutely terrible decision, in my opinion. But I think he lost that because he's going to be put in the Money in the Bank, and he probably is the favorite to win Money in the Bank at this point in time. So at number 10, I got Trick. I love Trick. I think he has an absolute bright future. Watch him in NXT. I think his run where he had both titles, not both titles, where he had the TNA title and he went over there and kind of came back, continued to grow as a character, continued to grow in his promo, became that, that nasally heel in NXT. That's kind of when I fell in love with him. Then he got called up and just continued to keep the same kind of cadences, the same type of promos. And I know he's over with the crowd as babyface, but I think he should always keep that little heel tendencies in his promos when he does speak because he is a lot better that way. So number 10, I got Tricky Williams. At number 9, this one might be surprising, but I got Randy. Now, Randy is someone that was like one of my all-time favorites. Currently, same as I said about Punk, the current version of Randy that we are getting, he's gone a lot. He just made this list because he just came back at SummerSlam. If we get Randy that they actually let be this heel, show some hate, cut some deep promos, continue to push him as a world champion, how this man doesn't win matches anymore. And it's very annoying to see. He is still fucking Randy Orton at the end of the day, but we cannot give him a win. And I don't know why we can't push him the way that we push these other older guys, but he should be feuding for world titles. He should be in the main event picture. He's going to probably have a great feud with Cody Rhodes, but, he could arguably be in my top 5, but once again, the way he's been booked and the way he's kind of been as a character hasn't been the most exciting thing in the world recently. He's still Randy Orton, so he's still going to be my top 10 because he is Randy Orton. And if they let him actually cut promos, they let him have these good matches, and he could still be one of the favorites. But I'm not going to take him out of my top 10. I still absolutely love Randy Orton. He can never, even if he turns heel, he'll still get cheered because he's Randy Orton. But Randy Orton has to be in the top 10. I don't really care if they book him absolutely atrociously. He's still Randy freaking Orton. So he's coming in at number 9 for me. At number 8, we got Penta, man. And this is someone that caught me completely off guard. I am not one that just likes great in-ring workers, but Penta's more than that, man. Penta has everything. He's so good in the ring, but his promos, although they tailor between kind of English and Spanish, his promos are just, you feel it. You feel what he is saying. He's so emotional when he cuts them. His just actions, his walk, his attire, his entrance music. It's just all so cool. He's just overall just a cool character, man. I love Penta. Penta has been terrific. When he was Intercontinental Champion, I said I think he was the best championship in all of wrestling. He was my favorite champion when he had that belt. Came out banger matches every single night. Had good backstage segments. I think when he has that cool cadence from, oh my God, like he just kind of is laid back. I find that to be funny for some reason. I don't know why, but he's just like, really, man? Like he just has that laid back cadence to him. And so he's just absolutely terrific in the ring. I love everything about Penta. This is someone, if you told me when he arrived, he would be in my top 10, I would have said you're lying, but he's won me over in every way possible. I think Penta has to be in my top 10. He's just absolutely terrific. So Penta in at number 7. Or number 8. Number 7, I got the Trouble Chief. Yes, he's at number 7. I'm not the top of my list. You have to include these guys just because it truly does feel more special when he's on the show. At the end of the day, like I could fill this list with a bunch of random people that I do like, but I do love to see Roman. When Roman is on the show, when Roman is cutting the promo, when Roman's in a match, you are watching it, you are fully invested in it. It is most likely the most exciting thing on that show or on that PLE. That's why there's a reason why he always main events, because he is the biggest draw, he is the biggest star. So Roman just has all the aura in the world to make him this high on the list. And I think he has to be. He has to be in the top 10. He's right now at number 7 for me. You know, it could be higher, but and I'm so glad to see that he is back to being like semi full time now. When he was on the part time, that was kind of annoying. He's currently on his run where he's defeating all his old demons, just beat Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. You know, he took out CM Punk in a clean win at WrestleMania, took out Jacob Fatu in a clean win. And so he's probably going to take out LA Knight next with a clean win over him. But this Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief character, although the bloodline is kind of going on a little long, and I don't know how many times you can rerun the same thing, but when Roman Reigns goes out there and he actually cuts a deep promo, he can cut a good promo. He's very comfortable on the microphone now, and his matches, although they start off slow, they always pick up, and they usually are always exciting. So Roman Reigns is in at number 7 for me. And at number 6, we got KO, man. KO is back. It's been so long. You know, I popped when KO returned. KO is finally back to wrestling. He is just someone that has everything that you love about wrestling. He can absolutely go in the ring. He's just an honest promo cutter. It doesn't feel like he's playing a character. It just feels like he's Kevin Owens. You know, he's not out there being over the top or acting like this something else that he's not. He's just being Kevin Owens. His promos are very real. I cannot wait for this promo battle that him and CM Punk are going to have against each other now that he's the number 1 contender. Those promos are going to be absolutely terrific. I mean, every feud he's been in that I've been watching recently when I came back to wrestling have been terrific. He just was in the feud with Cody Rhodes, which was absolutely tremendous feud. His feud with Sami Zayn was great as well. He puts his body on the line whenever he's in the ring. Clearly, he loves wrestling. He seems just like an overall great guy. Not that, not that that's what we're grading on, but it's easy to root for him. So Kevin Owens would have to be my list. And I'm so happy to see him back in wrestling, back on the show, and he's going to make SmackDown so much better. So Kevin Owens in at number 6. At number 5, we got the golden boy, Cody Rhodes. I don't care. I don't care if you say he's overhyped. I don't care if you don't like him. Cody Rhodes is still in my top 5. Arguably, he could be number 2. I'm not going to put him that high just because at this current moment, there are a couple guys I like more than him. Like I said, as of today, September 5th, 2026, there are some guys I would rather see win if they were to face him. But I still do love Cody Rhodes. Kind of like I said about Kevin Owens earlier. The reason I like Cody Rhodes so much is just because of the way he is in like real life. He just seems like a funny guy. The interview he has with his wife, his podcast is interesting. He just seems very laid. He seems like a guy's guy, like someone that you'd want to hang out with. But also when it comes to the wrestling side, he is super over. He does an absolute tremendous job being a babyface, and I know we all want to see him turn heel, but there's not many people like Cody Rhodes that can turn a crowd back to your side. He comes out as a babyface, gets booed, wins the crowd back over, and now they're cheering for him at the end of his promo. Not many people can do that at all. Usually once you start getting booed, you have to power through it, and they still might be like booing you even though you're a babyface and it looks terrible. But Cody wins the crowd over with all of his promos. His matches are usually terrific matches. He's absolutely great in the ring. Clearly one of the best entrances, one of the best, entrance songs and entrances in all of wrestling. Main event guy, has it all. I think Cody Rhodes has to be in my top 5. Also, the fact that I was at WrestleMania 40, so I've seen him finish the story. And then I also went to SummerSlam that following year and seen him beat John Cena at SummerSlam. So I have to be a Cody Rhodes guy, I feel like. But I am absolutely a Cody Rhodes fan, and Cody Rhodes has to be in my top 5. I don't see him dropping any lower than that unless he starts just falling off like crazy. He's always probably going to be my top 5. I'm a big Cody Rhodes fan, so I don't care if that's, very main event of me, but it's just the truth. At number 4, yeah, Chad Gable. This is very, very, very much recency bias, and I'm fully aware of that. But Chad Gable is this high on my list, and I just think Chad Gable right now is arguably the best in-ring worker in the WWE. I mean, him or Penta have to be up there for the best in-ring worker. I think his promos are actually very, very cutting and motivational and emotional. Clearly, you see how good of a story he can tell. We gave him an El Grande Americano character that he turned into the most important storyline in the last decade of wrestling. I'd probably put that right below Cody finishing his story was this El Grande versus El Grande match. I was absolutely hyped watching that match, and I think a lot of people were. And hell, it got the highest rating from Dave Meltzer. Not that that really matters, but got the highest rating he's ever given a WWE match was to Chad Gable and Ludwig Kaiser. Absolutely insane. I think, like I said, he has everything that you need. When he cuts a promo, I'm ready to run through a wall. I said the last 2 times he got a microphone. I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to work right now because he just cut a promo. Like I said, he has all that. Terrific in the ring. He could the whole Gable. I don't know if that's ever going to get over. I just think it's a little forced right now. But that's about the only thing that I could say I dislike about him is how much we're trying to get that over. Very happy to see him win the Intercontinental Championship. I would not be mad that I know he's on the older side, but if he did lose that and then he actually got a push for a main event match, would not be against that at all. He's someone that I root for in most matches he's in. I want him to win. So Chad Gable is in at number 4. At number 3, my number 3, I kind of had a hard time ranking them. Like, my number 3 could have easily been my number 1. Easily could have been my number 1. My number 2 could have been like 3. These spots are very interchangeable. Just number 3 right now, I still got Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, I've always been a Seth Rollins guy. Don't ask why. You know how you just kind of pick a guy and you just kind of ride with them? That was Seth Rollins for me. I picked Seth Rollins, when he's in the Shield, when he turned his back against the Shield. He just always was the best in-ring worker to me, which I kind of fell in love with. He kind of gave, I know, this might drive some people crazy. He kind of gave me Shawn Michaels vibes. The way he was just in the ring, just great at everything when it came to wrestling. Would do the high flying moves, but also could do the technical wrestling, could do the strong moves because he's strong enough to pick you up and throw you, but can also jump off the top rope and do flips and swantons and everything else. When it came to promos, he's one of the best on the microphone at telling a story, at cutting a promo, at cutting deep promos against someone, whether he's by himself in the ring or he's face to face with someone. Absolutely terrific at cutting promos. He's definitely down to put people over. I mean, how he built up the division, trying to put Braun and Bronson over. He goes to work with them. So I just kind of think Seth has always been, my guy. So when I seen him win at SummerSlam, cashing in was absolutely terrific. And then when he won at WrestleMania, beating Punk and Roman, I was absolutely ecstatic, talking all the shit in the world. So Seth has always been one of my favorites. Like I said, he's probably arguably my top 5 favorite of all time. I'll have that debate for another day, but he would probably be in my top 5 because as a current wrestling fan for the new generation, after a long break, he's been my go-to number 1 guy since I've returned back to being a wrestling fan. So he's still in my top 3. Have to keep him top 3 because he always delivers. He always delivers whenever he's on screen. So Seth Rollins coming in number 3. Number 2, once again, this one isn't as recency bias because I've been saying this guy has been my favorite for literally about a year and some change. He's one of the most charismatic. He's one of the funniest. I don't think his in-ring work is that bad, but every time I see him, it's a fun time. And I'm talking about Solo Sikoa. I got tickets. Solo has won me over in every way possible since he's left the Bloodline. Even when he had the Tribal Chief feud with Roman Reigns and he had his own bloodline that he was calling at the time, trying to build up. He built his own bloodline over there. Hell, he was cutting promos every single week. Some of that was kind of dead, but some of that was also interesting. He can cut a serious promo when he has to. I mean, hell, the whole story he was telling with Jacob Fatu when he came up to recently to talk to Solo, and Solo's like, now you just run around for Jacob. Why would I go back? Why would I go back to Roman when you just run around for him? You could have been your own Simone Werewolf. Solo made that feud interesting. He makes a lot of feuds that shouldn't be interesting. I think he's the reason why this 6-man tag match that had no business being as interesting and intriguing as it was because he kind of made it that way when he had his promos with LA Knight, with the Usos, when he was talking to Seth Rollins, when he was talking to Royce Keys. He brought it all together. He was the one kind of intertwining everyone there. Solo, like I said, every time he's on screen, it's either going to be something funny, something important, or something that's going to move a storyline forward. I think Solo is absolutely terrific. He's a comedy whenever he's in the ring. All of his mannerisms, when he ran it back at SummerSlam, arguably one of the best moments of all of SummerSlam. And even when it comes to his in-ring work, I think that he is solid enough. I don't think he's a bad in-ring worker. I think he can go. Obviously, he's not the top of top guys in the ring. But I think his character work, his charisma, if they continue to let him stay babyface, I know right now he is a babyface, and he didn't turn at SummerSlam. Kind of worried that he's going to turn sometime soon. But if they let him stay that way, I think he will continue just to get over and over with the crowd. And I would not be mad if we see Solo win Money in the Bank and eventually win a world title. Just saying, I would not be against it. But my number one, if you know, the background kind of sets up for the number one guy. He's just the most over right now. He's being put over in every way possible. He's the absolute future of WWE. He has everything you need. Has the aura, has the entrance, has the microphone ability, has the storytelling abilities, can absolutely go and throw people around. Super over, Mr. Oba Femi. And is part of this because I watched him. I started watching NXT when Oba Femi was around, and I watched him grow from becoming North American champion to becoming the most dominant person in all NXT to being called up and continue to watch him grow. Yes, but that's not the only reason why. I do think he, like I said, has absolutely everything. When this guy gets a microphone and cuts a promo, it usually is absolutely terrific, whether it be against somebody or even just last week on Monday Night Raw when he cut a promo. His storytelling is tremendous. Talking about how Brock Lesnar took him to the deepest parts of the ocean and tried to drown him, but he came up and swam. He handed him the fire, so he has to light his way to his next destiny. Like, what, bro? Like, he is really a great storyteller. Obviously, super over with the crowd already. Since he's been called up, had an absolute pop, beat Brock Lesnar. So obviously we're shooting him to the moon. My guess is he's probably gonna beat Roman at WrestleMania. And every time Oba Femi has a match, my thought process is he should win. If I want you to win every single match that you're in, I have to say you are my favorite wrestler. If you put Oba against anyone right now on this list, I'm going to be rooting for Oba Femi to win that match. I think Oba Femi should be pushed to the absolute moon. I don't think you can push him enough, like the same way we push Roman down your throat. I don't think we can push Oba that much because I think people actually want to see him be pushed, and he actually should win what he is winning. Now, if we gave him the Royal Rumble and King of the Ring in the same year, yes, that is kind of crazy, but I don't think it would be like OD if he did win both. My personal opinion, like I said, Oba, every time he walks out, every time he has a match, it's must watch. Since I've watched him on NXT, he's been my favorite. And so right now, I think he is my favorite. He probably will be my favorite for the next 20 years of wrestling until he falls off. But yeah, he's my number one right now. And I think Oba Femi, the ruler, should be your favorite because why wouldn't he be? So that is my top 10 wrestlers right now, my favorite wrestler right now. And once again, in my personal opinion, let me know what y'all think. I will be posting probably my top 10 female wrestlers tomorrow, most likely. But that's my top 10. Let me know your opinions, where I was right, where I was wrong, who I might have forgot about, what my thoughts are on a different superstar. It's been your boy Warren Watcher Wrestling. Y'all stay beautiful, world.